Good morning, students. Yesterday we did the graphs of motion. So, do you remember what we did yesterday in the graphs? The previous lecture we had done the displacement time graph. Yes, the displacement or distance time graph of a stationary body is a line parallel to the x-axis, and the distance time graph of uniform motion is a straight line having a slope along the x-axis. The formula of the slope, do you remember? y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1, and the slope gives us the speed of the body. Next we had the velocity time graph, and we learned that the slope of the velocity time graph gives us the acceleration, and the area under the velocity time graph gives us the displacement. So there is some information we can learn from the graphs also. Today our chapter is going to include, yes, the equations of motion given by Sir Isaac Newton. So these equations of motions are valid for the massive bodies and all the bodies on the earth. So it is very near to the equations in real day life. So we will now go through the equations of motion. We are going to derive the equations of motion by the graphical method. So what you can see here, we have given a velocity time graph, and as you can see, at time t1 the initial velocity is u, and at time t2 the final velocity is v, that is 10. Okay, so at time t1 the initial velocity is u, at time t2 the final velocity is v. So what is the time t? T is actually taken as t2 minus t1, and you can see this height. How much is this height? V minus u. So we have the uniformly accelerated motion of a body is described by three equations known as equations of motion. Now what do you see here? The line is a straight line. This is a velocity time graph in a straight line. So it is uniformly accelerated motion. So these equations of motion are for uniformly accelerated motion. Now, which are the variables we are going to use in the equation? So we will have the initial velocity indicated by the letter u, final velocity with the letter v, acceleration by the letter a, time by the letter t. Okay, so we will find the first equation of motion for the velocity time relationship. Now we know the slope of the graph gives us the acceleration. So acceleration is change in velocity upon time taken. So what is change in velocity? Final velocity minus initial velocity. Yes, final velocity minus initial velocity upon the time taken. Final velocity is v, initial velocity is u, time taken is t. So we have a is equal to v minus u upon t, or you can take the t into multiplication here. So v minus u equal to at, and minus u, when you move to the right side, you get v is equal to u plus at. So this is the first equation of motion. We revise again. V is the final velocity, u is the initial velocity, a is the uniform acceleration, and t is time taken for the change in velocity. So from the graph we have the first equation of motion. Now let us move on to the second equation. Okay, the relation between, now this time it is the relation between distance traveled s, initial velocity u, acceleration a, and time t. The previous equation was v is equal to u plus at. So we had v, final velocity, u, initial velocity, a, the uniform acceleration, and t the time taken. Now this equation gives us a relation between distance traveled, initial velocity, acceleration and time. So here we don't have v, we don't have the final velocity. We only have the distance traveled, initial velocity, acceleration and time. Okay. Now remember the graph. Displacement of the body is area under the velocity time graph. So I have shown you the areas by two different colors. So the total area is area of the rectangle in blue plus area of the triangle in green. Now what is the formula for area of a triangle? It is half base into altitude. And area of rectangle is length into breadth. So let us see what is the base here. The base of the triangle is t and the height is how much? How do you find the height? V is total. V is total. From V, if you minus the U, from the V, if you minus the U, you will get the remaining V minus U. So the height of the triangle is V minus U. The base is T. So we will get what? Half into T into V minus U. And the length of the rectangle is again T. Yes, the length of the rectangle is T and the breadth of the rectangle is how much? Can you tell me from the graph? This is T and the breadth is U. Okay, so put down the values now. S is equal to half into base. Base is T. Altitude of the triangle is V minus U. Now rectangle is length into breadth. The length is T and the breadth is U. So U into T. Opening the bracket. How to open the bracket? Half into T into V minus U. Okay. Now what have they got here? They have taken V minus U equal to AT. How? Remember the formula? A is equal to V minus U upon T. The formula is A is equal to V minus U upon T. That is the acceleration. Okay. So what they have done? They have moved the T to which side? The left side. So if you move the T here, what do you get? V minus U equal to AT. So here V minus U is replaced by AT and U into T is UT. Further adding, we get S equal to UT. How? The UT is written first, UT plus half and AT into T is AT square. So this is what we get. S is equal to UT plus half AT square. Now we go to the third equation. This equation is a relation between U, initial velocity, final velocity V, acceleration A and distance traveled S. So this is the third equation. How do we derive it? Now here we have got something called average velocity. How do you find the average velocity? Average velocity is initial velocity plus final velocity upon 2. So the average, total average is initial plus final upon 2. Now average velocity is also displacement upon time. So if they written average velocity is S upon T, that is displacement upon time. Then T is taken into multiplication, so you get U plus V upon 2 equal to T. Now instead of T they have put V minus U upon A. How? Again the same equation we have used. V equal to U plus AT. Take the U on the left side, so it becomes V minus U, and take the A below, so you get T. So they have put T is equal to V minus U upon A. Now you can see V minus U into V plus U is V square minus U square, and below you have got 2A. Take the 2A into multiplication and you get 2AS equal to V square minus U square. So we have derived the three equations of motion. Yes, let us revise one more time. The equations of motion: V equal to U plus AT, S equal to UT plus half AT square, v square minus u square equal to 2as. Now there are 5 variables here. V is final velocity, u is initial velocity, a is uniform acceleration, t is time taken, and s is displacement. But you can see at a given time one equation only has 4 variables out of the 5. So I hope the equations of motions are clear to you. Now we'll do a few examples so you will know how to make use of these equations of motion. You need to rewind the video, learn it one more time. This is the derivations of the equations of motion by graphical method. There is also an arithmetic method which I will do at some different time, but just now I have derived the equations of motion using the graphical method. Okay, so learn these equations well, and now we'll do a few examples so you can understand how to make use of the equations of motion. The first example, the brakes applied to a car produce an acceleration of 4 meter per second square in the opposite direction to the motion. Yes, so it is negative acceleration because it is in the opposite direction, or we can call it retardation. So a car was moving and brakes were applied. So you can understand the velocity is decreasing. If the car takes 3 seconds to stop, so time taken to stop is 3 seconds, and when the car is stopping means the final velocity is 0 because the car has come to rest. Now what we have to find out, the distance is traversed during the time. So we have to only find out the distance. Now what are the formulas for distance? V square minus u square equal to 2as. From this equation we can find s, or we can use s equal to ut plus half at square. We have t, we have a, but we do not have u. So in either case, we'll first have to find the u, only then we can find the s. So we are given the final velocity is v equal to 0. Why? Because it says the car to stop. When the car stops, the velocity becomes 0. So final velocity is 0. Time to taken to stop is given 3 seconds. Acceleration is minus 4 meter per second square, that is retardation, because the acceleration is in the direction opposite to the motion. Now using this equation, v is equal to u plus at, we have got v, we have got u, no sorry not u, we have u, we have v, we have a, and we have t. Put the value down. So 0 equal to u plus minus 4 into 3. So 0 equal to u plus minus 12. Rearranging we get u equal to 12 meter per second. So the car was traveling with the initial velocity of 12 meter per second, and with a retardation of 4 meter per second, it takes 3 seconds for the car to stop. Now before the car can stop, how much is the distance traveled? So formula is s equal to ut plus half at square. Now we know the u, we know the t, we know the a. So putting down the values, we get 12 into 3 plus half minus 4 into 3 square, 36 plus minus 18 or 18 meter. So now why have we done this? What can you learn from this? Good cars which have got high speed also need to have good tires. To avoid accidents, the vehicle should be able to stop in a short time without turning upside down. So cars are now specifically designed the condition of the tires to be checked. If the tires have become smooth by old age, then they will skid and the car will not come to rest in the given time. So we have to check the tires. So now all the big companies are undergoing research and they do such calculations to find out when a car is traveling at a high velocity and you apply the hydraulic brakes, in how much time the car comes to rest and how much distance does the car travel before coming to rest. So mechanical engineers will be making use of this laws of motion, not in a simple manner but slightly modified, but these are the equations of motion. We move to the next. A motorbike accelerates uniformly from 54 km per hour to 72 km per hour in 2 seconds. So what you can see here, it is going from 54 km per hour, that is initial velocity is 54 km per hour. Final velocity is 72 km per hour, and the change in velocity comes in 2 seconds. You have to find the acceleration and the distance covered. Now here the speed is given in kilometer per hour. So what is the first thing we do? Convert the speed into meter per second. And do you remember how do you convert kilometer per hour into meter per second? We have to multiply by 5 upon 80. So initial velocity is 54 km per hour. So 54 into 5 by 18, 18 3s are 54. So 3 5s are 15. So initial velocity is 15 meter per second. The final velocity is given as 72 km per hour. Again multiply 72 into 5 by 18. 18 1s are 18 4s are. So 5 4s are 20. So now we have converted the initial and final velocity from kilometer per hour to meter per second. So final velocity is 20 meter per second. Initial velocity is 15 meter per second. What is acceleration? A is equal to change in velocity upon time. So final velocity minus initial velocity upon time, v minus u upon t. V is 20, u is 15. So 20 minus 15. Yes, 20 minus 15 upon 2 is 2.5 meter per second square. So this is the acceleration of the car. Now for the speed to go from 54 to 72, how much distance has the motorbike traveled? So which formula will we use? Second equation, s equal to ut plus half at square. The u is 15, the t is 2 seconds and a is 2.5. Putting down the values, sorry there is a mistake here, I made a mistake. It is not 4, it is 5. 2.5 into 2 square. So 15 2s are 30 and 4 into 2.5 is 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So 30 plus 5 is 35 meter. So the motorbike has covered a distance of 35 meter in 2 seconds and the speed has gone from 54 km per hour to 72 km per hour, or we can say from 15 meter per second to 20 meter per second. So this is how we make use of the equations of motion. Let us see one more example, so you will get one more idea how to use the equations of motion. Okay, let us see one more example. A train starting from rest. Now the train is starting from rest means the initial velocity is how much? Yes, 0 meter per second, because the train is starting from rest. It attains a velocity of 90 km per hour. So remember, we have to convert the kilometer per hour into meter per second. So the train is going from 0 meter per second or 0 km per hour to 90 km per hour in 3 minutes. We have to see, assuming that the acceleration is uniform, we have to again find the acceleration and the distance traveled. So first of all, it is not final velocity, again there is a mistake here. It is the initial velocity, u equal to 0. Final velocity is 90 km per hour. On conversion, we get 25 meter per second. So initial velocity was 0 meter per second. Final velocity is 20 meter per second. And the time taken is 3 minutes or 180 seconds. So again, acceleration is what? V minus u upon t. So 25 minus 0 upon 180 is 5 upon 36 meter per second square. So this is the acceleration of the train. Now using the acceleration, we have to find the distance. This time we are going to use the formula 2as equal to v square minus u square, or s is equal to v square minus u square upon 2a. So what is v? 25 square, u is 0 upon 2 into a, 5 by 36. 25 square is 625. 625 minus 0 is 625, and here we have 2 1s are and 2 18s are, but that 18 will now go into the numerator. So we have 625 into 18 upon 5, 5 1s are, 5 25s are, and 25 18s are 2250. Sorry, 5 not 25, this is 5 1s are and 5 125. 125 into 18 gives us 2250 meter. So the train has travelled 2250 meter in 3 minutes while going from 0 to 90 km per hour in 3 minutes. So these are the different examples we have done, and you must have understood how to make use of the equations of motion. Again, remember, sometimes in the exam the 3 derivations are asked for 5 marks. Any one derivation can be asked for 2 or 3 marks, and all the 3 derivations are asked for 5 marks. So theoretically you should also learn how to derive the equations, and in the numericals you should know how to make use of the equations. So here we have almost done with the lesson, but now in the next lecture we are going to practice some question answers. We are going to take on more numericals. Keep on revising and making the lesson thorough. Okay, thank you.